All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're talking about your home's air conditioner. But we're not just looking at any old scenario. We are heading straight into a high-stakes danger zone, South Florida. We're going to see what happens when an AC unit gets pushed to its absolute breaking point. And trust me, this is a case study with lessons for literally every single homeowner, no matter where you live.
So I want you to picture this. It's one of those brutal summer afternoons. The sun is just relentless, and the thermometer is creeping up into the mid-90s. You can feel the heat radiating off the pavement.
And it's not just the heat. Oh no. The air itself feels heavy, saturated. It's that awful sticky feeling that makes it hard to breathe, you know? The kind where just walking out to the mailbox leaves you feeling like you need a shower. And then it happens. That steady, reassuring hum coming from your vents, it just stops. The silence is what hits you first, and it is deafening. And in that one moment, you realize your only line of defense against that crushing heat has just surrendered.
See, this is exactly why we need to think about our AC units in a totally different way. It's not just some appliance for comfort. It's the unsung hero of your home. It's the essential system that is single-handedly controlling your indoor environment, fighting a constant battle just to keep your home livable.
And this quote from our source material on Doral, Florida, man, it just hits the nail on the head. In these extreme climates, air conditioning is not a luxury. When indoor temperatures can soar to 100 degrees within an hour of a failure, it becomes a serious matter of health and safety. It truly is life support.
Okay, so if our AC unit is the hero of this story, who's the villain? Well, in this case study, it's the environment itself. Let's break down the brutal forces that are constantly trying to take your system down.
First, you've got the obvious enemy, pure, relentless heat. We're talking about a peak summer temperature of 95 degrees that forces an AC system to run almost non-stop for months and months on end.
But here's the thing, heat is only half the battle. Your system is also fighting to pull gallons of moisture out of the air every single day to combat the staggering 80% humidity. And that process puts a whole different kind of strain on the equipment.
And this slide just perfectly illustrates the combined assault. It's not just one thing, it's the constant heat and the humidity, plus the electrical stress from frequent thunderstorms and that corrosive salt air from the ocean that literally eats away at the outdoor unit's metal parts. It's a full frontal attack.
But the enemy isn't always outside. In a lot of homes, especially those built before 2010, the enemy is right up in the attic. The source material reveals that leaky ductwork can waste up to 40% of the cold air your system produces. Can you imagine that? Your hero is winning the battle outside, only to have 40% of its victory just vanish through leaky supply lines.
So when a system is losing this war on multiple fronts, it doesn't just go silent. It sends out warning signs, distress signals. The most important thing is learning how to recognize them before you have a total breakdown. Let's break it down really simple. A healthy AC does its job, and then it rests. It cools, it pulls out humidity, and it cycles on and off in predictable, solid chunks of time. A failing AC, on the other hand, is a hot mess. It's always running but getting nowhere, it's leaking water, or it's panicking, just turning on and off in these frantic, short bursts. You know, that frantic on and off behavior actually has a name. It's called short cycling, and this is a major, major red flag. Every single time your AC starts, it puts this immense strain on the compressor, its most expensive part. Short cycling just multiplies that strain, causing it to fail way too early, all while never running long enough to actually pull the humidity out of your air. So here they are, the top 4 signals you have to watch for. If the system is running but the house is still warm, if it's short cycling, if you see water pulling inside, or if your power bill suddenly skyrockets, your AC is telling you it's in trouble and needs help, fast. So what's the solution? Well, when you do call for help, what does professional, quality work actually look like? There are clear standards that separate the real pros from the amateurs who might just make things worse. It all comes down to these 3 pillars: getting the size of the unit right, strictly following all the building codes, and executing the installation with technical precision. You get any one of these wrong, and the entire system is compromised. Now this next point debunks a huge myth. Sizing an AC unit isn't about guessing based on square footage. Professionals use a complex formula called a manual J load calculation. It accounts for your home's insulation, your windows, your ceiling height, even which direction your house faces. The key takeaway: bigger is not better. Correct is better. And you better believe there are rules to this game. Legitimate work requires pulling permits. It has to meet strict building codes.
Technicians must be EPA certified to handle refrigerant safely, and even the ductwork has its own standards manual. These aren't just suggestions, they are requirements for a safe and effective system.
Okay, so armed with all this knowledge, how can you, the homeowner, actually take an active role? How can you protect your home's hero and avoid a crisis in the first place? Well, here is your actionable checklist.
This is your playbook. Do schedule professional maintenance twice a year. Do change your filter every single month in the summer. And do know that the 10-year mark is when you start thinking about replacement. On the other side, don't ignore those distress signals. Don't fall for the bigger is better myth. And never, ever allow non-permitted work on your home.
So, the big question, repair or replace? This chart visualizes the logic. If your system is young, under 10 years old, a repair usually makes sense. But if it's over a decade old and it's facing a major expensive repair, like a new compressor, replacement is very often the smarter financial move. It'll save you from constant repair bills and those high energy costs.
And this brings us right back to our central idea. That machine outside your house isn't just a box, it's a hero, working around the clock, fighting a brutal war against the elements just to keep your family safe and comfortable. So, the question is, are you doing your part to protect it?